Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to FeatureOps Summit 2026. My name's Nick Stannard. I lead our customer organization at Unleash. I couldn't be more excited to have Rohan Deshpande from Samsung join us. Rohan, why don't you take a moment and introduce yourself?
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for having me here. Hi, everyone. I am Rohan Deshpande, working as a staff software engineer at Samsung Ads in the ad experience team. Our team builds scalable advertising systems that build ad experiences on the Samsung TVs. My focus is on building the backend systems and platform capabilities that are required to operate reliably at scale. Over the last couple of years, I've been involved in building the experimentation and the feature management capability at Samsung Ads. We help drive the evaluation of different platforms, adoption of Unleash, and its rollout across our production systems. I'm excited to share our journey from choosing the right platform to scaling adoption and how it has helped our teams release, experiment, and innovate with more confidence.
Rohan, thank you so much for the introduction. Let's jump right in. What was the problem you were trying to solve when you first came to us?
So, our initial goal was to establish a standardized feature management and experimentation platform across Samsung Ads. We didn't have anything before. As our engineering teams and systems continued to scale, we wanted to move away from individual teams solving feature rollout and experimentation challenges in different ways and instead provide a common platform with consistent practices, governance, and visibility. There are a few capabilities what we were looking for. First was like the controlled feature rollouts. Another important goal was experimentation. We also wanted to decouple deployments from releases. And for ads specifically, performance and reliability were extremely important evaluation criteria. We needed a solution that could support modern release practices without compromising the performance expectations of our platform.
Rohan, I love that perspective. And in thinking about that, what did your evaluation process look like?
We started with evaluating like several feature management and experimentation platforms back in 2023. As part of that process, we looked into Growthbook, AWS Evidently, LaunchDarkly, and Unleash. We evaluated these platforms across multiple dimensions, feature management capabilities, experimentation support, SDK availability, developer experience, scalability, and enterprise readiness. For ads specifically, two areas were especially important. The first one was the privacy and operational control. We wanted a platform that could run within our own infra and align with our data requirements. The second was the performance and reliability. Our bidding systems operate at a very high throughput and are latency sensitive. So, feature evaluation needed to be extremely fast, reliable, and not introduce additional risk into the request path. These factors played a major role in our decision making process.
Was there a specific moment or metric that convinced you this was the right choice, Rohan?
The biggest validation for us came actually from running the Unleash open source in production. So instead of making decision only based on feature comparisons or proof of concepts, we started with the open source version, integrated it with our real production workloads, and one of the one of the key use cases was like when we rolled out our no our new Golang based bidding system.
Mhm.
This was a critical system for us. So it gave us an opportunity to validate Unleash in an environment where performance, stability, and reliability really mattered. It helped us build confidence not only in platform's ability to operate at our scale, but also in the developer experience and how naturally it fit into our release workflows. Once we had that production validation and confidence, moving forward with the enterprise was a much easier decision.
I loved how you talked about using open source as a way to get started. Would love to hear you walk us through your implementation timeline. What went smoothly for you, and where did you maybe hit some bumps?
So our like as I mentioned, our implementation approach was like very incremental. We started with the evaluation phase where we compared different feature management platforms.
Mhm.
After selecting Unleash as a strong candidate, we first deployed the open source version, validated it with real production traffic before moving to enterprise. Once we had the confidence, our SRE teams helped productionize the platform by deploying like the Unleash Enterprise using the Helm charts and integrating it within our own infrastructure. From their adoption across multiple systems, like the bidding services, backend platforms, and front end application was what followed. So on a timeline, I think when we started with the Unleash Enterprise rollout to act to the production, it took us
Mhm.
around 2 months or so.
Mhm.
And then we over the months we do see like a gradual increase in rollout by other teams as well.
Rohan, how did you get your team bought in? Were there any skeptics?
uh, so like with like any new platform introduction, getting adoption was just as important as the technical rollout. Initially there is always some hesitation because teams want to understand how a new platform fits into their existing development workflow, whether it adds complexity. What really helped though was like the building confidence through a real production use cases. And team started seeing the shift from a traditional model of deploy, discover an issue, and roll back to a
Mhm.
safer model where we could deploy, gradually enable features, monitor behavior, and expand the rollout with more confidence. To increase adoption, we focused a lot on enablement. We conducted brown bag sessions across engineering teams to share best practices, common patterns, lessons learned. Like
Mhm.
the Unleash team also visited us at our Mountain View office and helped socialize the platform across broader engineering organization. One of the things like that surprised me most was the mindset shift that happened once a team started adopting Unleash. Initially, many engineers looked at feature flag as simple on and off switches as a way to hide unfinished functionality.
Yep.
But as adoption grew, teams started seeing feature management as an important part of how we build and operate software. The conversation like changed from how we are deploying this feature to how do we want to release this feature. Team started thinking more about rollout strategies, user targeting, pod targeting, monitoring, and how to safely introduce changes in production. For me, that was the biggest surprise. The platform didn't just change our release process, it also changed how we approached like software deployment in production.
So that's a good segue into kind of just talking through some impact. When you think about this, Rohan, what's been the most tangible benefit you've seen so far?
The most tangible benefit we have seen is the confidence and the control like teams and engineers now have releasing features into production. Before like adopting Unleash, releasing a major change usually carried more risk because deployment and feature availability were closely tied together. If something went wrong, the common mitigation approach was to roll back the application version.
Mhm.
But with Unleash, the teams can take much safer approach. We can deploy, gradually enable features for a controlled audience, monitor the behavior, and increase rollout as confidence grows. Like this helped reduce the blast radius if the issue occurs. It
Mhm.
also gives us like a faster mitigation options in case of performing an emergency rollback or redeployment. Teams can disable a feature flag and restore the expected behavior much faster.
And we love hearing that we can help you operate with speed. That's definitely a core value tenet for us here at Unleash. Have you achieved the specific goals you set out to accomplish, Rohan?
Yes, I would say we have achieved the goals we initially set out with. Our objective was to establish like a centralized feature management and experimentation platform across engineering teams within the Samsung ads, like which everyone could rely on, rather than having like a different team solving their individual problems independently. So with Unleashed, we were able to build like this common capability and integrate it with like multiple backend and front end systems.
Mhm.
Uh, so the value has not just been standardization; it has been like improved developer experience, operational control, and like the way we deliver changes at scale.
Love hearing that. Are there any metrics that you're tracking now that you weren't before?
So we like one area where we do see like a metric improvement, like we have as part of the Dora metrics. For
Yep.
example, the change failure rate, the feature management helps reduce the risk associated with the release. So it like doesn't prevent every issue, but by using controlled exposure, we can limit the blast radius of a change, identify problems before they impact a larger audience. And another metric what we see is impacted is the mean time to restore. Previously, if we release a recovery often involved like rolling back a deployment which took time, but with Unleash it's like much quicker, like probably
Mhm.
within few seconds, where we can just roll back like a feature if things are not working as expected.
When you think about all of this, who in your organization has felt the impact most directly?
So I think the most impact, uh, where I could say like most have the impact has been on the engineering side of things. Like
Mhm.
they have the confidence to deploy the release to production, and also the like the how we experiment at scale has gone up. Given we have a platform which enables us to build an assignment service like as part of experimentation. So I would say like the engineers have felt the most impact.
Absolutely. Shifting gears a little bit and talking through integration and workflow, how did you integrate this into your existing workflow and systems? Love to hear a little bit about that.
So yeah, sure. So we integrated like Unleash into our existing workflows by making it part of our application development lifecycle rather than just treating it as a release tool. Like since here we have multiple technology stacks, the
Mhm.
SDK support was very important for
Mhm.
adoption. Like we use multiple Unleash SDKs across our ecosystem, including like the Golang SDK for high throughput services, the Ruby SDK for the services which power our front end systems. So like over the time, teams have expanded how they use the platform. Some teams
Mhm.
have opened up the configuration management to allow product teams to control certain feature behavior and rollout without requiring the engineering team for every change. Recently we also have started seeing like some usage where teams have started using Unleash API to dynamically create and manage flags.
Absolutely. Love hearing that. Would love to hear maybe a little bit about how a typical week and what that looks like for your team now compared to before. Anything worth sharing there?
So uh, So previously, I think, like as I mentioned earlier, when we deployed a release, it carried more risk. If issue was discovered, it was like a full rollback, which it
Mm.
took time because, like, if we have like as our system works at scale, we have like multiple pods running across multiple data centers. So rolling back release at that scale, like, definitely involved some like minutes of some error rates on the API side. But with Unleash, that has definitely been like much easier to roll back. Like it's just a matter of seconds where we can roll back a change or a issue or a feature which is not working as intended.
Are there any use cases that you discovered, Rohan, that you didn't necessarily anticipate?
So one interesting area that evolved during a rollout was experimentation. Like since our original goal was not only to have feature management but also build an experimentation platform, we started exploring like how different teams could leverage Unleash beyond feature rollouts. Like today we use Unleash for experiment assignment, where it helps provide like consistent user and traffic allocation, and enables teams to safely validate like different experiments. We also evaluated Unleash for ML experiments on our side,
Mhm.
but we realized that the workflow had different requirements. Like ML teams were following a more git driven approach for managing experiments, and their use case involved like multiple experiment candidates for a single request, where not every experiment would be necessarily activated or used, which was different in how Unleash we like map the experiments and Unleash. So the biggest learning was that the experimentation is like not one size fits all. Unleash works very well for our feature management and the experimentation and control rollouts, but different domains may require different workflows. So it's
Would
important to choose the right tool and pattern for the right problem.
love kind of thinking about how you thought about those different problems and how you integrated it from a workflow perspective. Rohan, as we kind of move toward the end here, love you sharing kind of some of those thoughts and expertise that you're able to gain. With respect to partnership and learning, what's one piece of advice you'd give to other teams that might be considering a similar implementation?
So my advice to the teams like who are starting their feature management journey would be like, don't think of feature flags as like simple on and off switches. The real value comes when you treat feature management as an engineering practice and build the right processes around it.
Mhm.
Like the technology itself is one part of the journey, but to make it successful at scale, you need like clear ownership around who owns the flag, when it's to be removed, how it evolves through a feature life cycle. Without that discipline, like the features can quickly become a technical debt. It's also important to invest in governance, developer education, have brown bags, and use like and integrate with your existing workflows. Like teams need guidance on best practices and patterns so the platform is used consistently. Ultimately, like feature management is about like creating a culture where teams can release confidently and experiment safely and maintain operational control as the organization scales.
Rohan, would love to hear a little bit. How has our team supported you? Is there anything that we could have done better on the Unleash side?
I mean, like your team has been a great partner for us in advocating like the use cases what we have built. They came to our office to help socialize the platform across engineering orgs. With they conducted like a really good use case where it showed like how their use case could be mapped to the Unleashed platform. So yeah, you have been a great partner for us.
Last question for you, Rohan, before we wrap. What's next for you? How do you see this evolving?
So we see this evolving more on the like the experimentation side of things. I think we are solid with the feature management and the rollout part, but how we can use Unleash to deliver more experiments at scale, I think that would be the one area where we would be looking more going forward.
Absolutely. Rohan, it was so great to connect with you, and it was great seeing you. Thank you so much for taking some time today to share us your perspective at Samsung. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Nick. Thank you for having me. It was a great sharing our Unleash journey and reflecting how feature management and experimentation have evolved. Like it was a collaborative effort across engineering, SRE, product teams, and of course the Unleash team. So thank you to everyone involved. And looking forward to continuing this journey.